Hi, welcome back to another edition of the Free Exchange of Ideas. I want to apologize about last week and yesterday. As you can see, my beard is shorter. I actually got a little nip on my cheek here and took some time to clean up. Let me just put it that way. No stitches, I'm in good shape, everything's fine, but I need to be able to see it, so I had to trim the beard and the mustache. All that being said, we're on to a new week. I realize this is Tuesday, so I'm a day late today, but I will be back tomorrow and get right back on track. So today, I want to talk about mental health in general, but specifically, the shooter in Tennessee took out 3 9-year-olds and 3, in essence, 60-year-olds. Teachers and students at a Christian school in Tennessee, outside of Memphis, I think. That individual has been identified, genetically female, identified as a male, and non-binary, I believe, was their quote. The individual did write a manifesto. I haven't heard anything about it. I don't really care to. My worry is that in hearing so many other stories of individuals who were supported in going into, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit the desk quite so hard, were encouraged into becoming either gay or transsexual through social media and their own confusion and not feeling like they fit in anywhere, thinking, well, if I'm this gender, then maybe I'm not this gender in my head, and those things go on. And my biggest issue is, in general, mental health. I sweat it with my military brethren. I sweat it with children in general because they don't have the faculties to understand the bigger issues, and I don't think that they should be thrust into that. My daughter did not have social media until she was a teenager, and even then it was not what it is today, not even remotely what it is today. Now you got to remember that I'm 61, so my daughter is a wee bit younger than me, but she kind of grew up with that. My granddaughter, on the other hand, she grew into it, I should say. I'm not with it. My granddaughter, on the other hand, is growing up with it. My daughter is the best advocate for her child anyone could ever be. And I believe she's also paying attention to social media and what my granddaughter is doing out there. There are many issues with mental health. For me, the largest being the lack of places you can go to get mental health that don't cost an arm and a leg, and 2, don't cause a stigma. There's still a stigma to mental health, but let me assure you, if you feel like you don't fit in, or you feel like you are not in the right body, or you don't you don't cycle well in school, let's just use that one, find help. I'm not talking about a school counselor, because school counselors are not outside of universities, they are not qualified to help you in that realm. You need to find a qualified therapist who can help guide you from where you're at to where you want to be, and that's what they help you do. Okay, a good therapist helps you just to get where you want to be. Okay? That's a big difference from telling you who you should be. And I don't trust anybody who tells me who I should be, but helps me get to the epiphanies in my own head, so that when you have that kind of epiphany, your world opens up, your vision opens up, and you can see where you've been, where you are, and where you're going. And those are big directions. If you can see where you're going and it's not where you want to be when you get there, then you can make changes in your life to redirect your energies. I have known several people who are uncomfortable with who they are. I wasn't comfortable with who I was years ago. When my daughter was born, that changed a lot of my thinking. That changed a lot of who I was at the time. It was a gradual thing. I didn't just turn on a dime, obviously. But things happened in my life that helped me get to a proper place. And I say proper because what I do now is I support my family, I support my daughter, I support my granddaughter in everything that they do. And I support them. I support my wife and myself financially, working. Sometimes I work hard, sometimes I don't. I mean, it's nice. I've got a job that doesn't require a great deal of my energy or attention, but I've got another job that does require a great deal of my energy and attention. I like that. I like being able to do that. I also like that the other job is my part-time job. And so if I'm not feeling particularly attentive, I can say I can't do this. And I try really hard to make sure that I'm not working 7 days a week, 31 days a month, 12 months a year. I'm not doing that with my part-time job, because I use that part-time job to supplement what I do for a living. And that part-time job is my release. I actually enjoy doing that job, and it helps me kind of puke up the garbage of the week from my regular job, which is not much, thankfully. But an uneventful day is a good day at my job, my regular job. That's the best I can say about it. An uneventful day is a good day at my job. But to get back to mental, emotional health, you need to find, and sometimes we need help to find, the direction we want to go in. Because if you are unwilling to reach out, I understand depression is one of those things that it tears people apart emotionally, inside, mentally. And I also understand from some others that it's always, to coin a phrase, darkest before the dawn. In other words, before you come out of it, it is the deepest pit you can get into. And then, for whatever reason, your brain does a turn and you can come out of it. But you have to recognize the symptoms as they come on. That way you can make adjustments in medication, foods, regular routine, that kind of thing. I am on the spectrum, only that I have a diagnosed ADHD. Which is not saying a lot, it's just squirrel, that kind of thing. Okay? When it's acting up, I can either really hyper focus on something or squirrel, same thing. Right? I can't focus on any one thing. I see all kinds of stuff in my peripheral vision and in front of me and whatnot, and it makes it very difficult for me to get through my day. My wife has been instrumental in, one, helping me find that, and two, helping guide me through the things I might need to do to mitigate some of the not withdrawals, some of the bad things that occur when my ADHD is turned on. I've been this way since I was a kid. Didn't know what it was. Only knew that sometimes teachers tolerated me and sometimes they did not. But that's just, I saw a therapist after my grandfather died because I turned into an extremely angry young man. And he didn't help. It wasn't his fault, I don't think. I just don't think he realized the depth of my sorrow and my anger at my grandfather's passing. Because it was unexpected. At least by the kids it was unexpected. I don't know if any of the adults expected it. I doubt it, because he was hunting with my uncles and they wouldn't have gone if that's what they expected to happen. So, that being said, I probably spent 6 months with that therapist and it wasn't going anywhere. I was still angry all the time. I was still, and not just angry, but stupid dangerous. I would do stupid things that would put my own person in danger of receiving damage. I didn't hesitate to fight anybody. Didn't mean anything to me. And I really didn't grow out of that part of it until I was in my late 20s, early 30s. And even then, if I'm honest, I was a bouncer for a little while and my anger just worked into that. I was able to control situations, and that actually also helped me focus my anger to the things that are right in front of me. But get help. Don't hesitate to try to get help. And if the help isn't working right away, and by right away I mean give it at least 3 months. If you don't find any kind of epiphany, if it doesn't feel like you're going where you want to go in your therapy travels, talk to somebody else. Don't hesitate to talk to somebody, anybody. And sometimes it's just a stranger at a bus and you're just talking. And while they might not talk to you, you're verbalizing what you're feeling. As long as you don't verbalize that you feel like you need to go kill 3 children and 3 adults at a Christian school or any school or kill anyone, because that's the quickest way to get you arrested and a 72-hour psych hold. At best, 72 hours. But if you talk to a therapist, they recognize a lot better what you are saying is not necessarily what you are feeling, and they try to explore those things to, knock some of the chinks off, round off the edges on that rock so that you're smoother, so that you are more aerodynamic, at least as, in your mind. And these are important things because everybody suffers from a little depression. Some people suffer from a lot of depression. Some people suffer from just PTSD, which is, in my opinion, a trauma-based depression. And I don't know if that's actually what psychologists or psychiatrists call it, but PTSD is a psychological trauma that can come at you at any time, and it's part of depression, in my opinion, because you don't go up from there, you always go down. So just ask, speak to anybody. You could speak to me. We could text back and forth. I don't care. I just don't want you to injure yourself or anyone else. I want you to find your true path. And those are important. That's all I got to say. I hope I didn't step on anybody's toes. I hope I didn't frighten anyone. I hope that I did inspire someone to go get help, because that's what it's there for. Okay? So that's all I got. Thanks very much. I really do appreciate you guys watching or listening, whichever you do. Work hard, live long, win the day. See ya!